Hello gamers, what is up? It is Instagamer and I am bringing you a brand new Let's Play / walkthrough for Fallout Shelter. Now, this isn't a series I was planning on doing, but one of you asked so nicely that, look at this, how could I say no? Of course I'll do it, and this way I can share all the knowledge I've accumulated about this game over the past months, and hopefully it'll help you out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a brand new vault and walk you through step by step how to create a massive vault where you've beaten the game and collected everything like I did with my last vault. And now let's go through actually starting a brand new vault from scratch. So even with the tutorial, I'm going to start with the strategy, and I'm going to build our power generator on the right hand side because as you build up your shelter, the rooms that are furthest away from the power generator will lose power first, so putting it in a central location is a good idea. Also, because the room above it will most likely be empty and not always full of dwellers because it's just a barracks, it's better to have a room that will be occupied near it in case it breaks out in a disaster. Now this is a part where a lot of people get confused, which is knowing what stats belong in what room. So people with the strength stat, like this first dweller, should go into a room that produces power. So let's go ahead and grab him and assign him. And now this dweller, the game's not even letting me see her stats. They just want to have us assign her right to the power generator. So there we go. And you'll notice their outfits change into their vault dweller uniforms, which is kind of a shame because I love all their little unique outfits, but they don't get to stay like that for long. You're going to have to collect outfits before you get to change how they look again. Now, as you continue going through the tutorial, they're going to give you more rooms to build. I'd recommend building them in places where you can have up to 3. Now, unfortunately, with the tutorial, it doesn't let you just build an elevator. Like, I'm trying to go back and build an elevator so I could build on another level, and it doesn't let you do that for max efficiency. So what we're doing right now is probably going to be temporary by building it up here, and if I can, I'll delete that later. So when I first started, I was confused about where to assign these dwellers. Now, endurance for this dweller isn't really the highest stat that we can use right now. We won't be able to use that until she explores the wasteland or until towards the end of the game when we build a Nuka-Cola bottlery. It's so hard to say that. But her agility and perception are her next highest stats, so we could assign her either to the diner, which requires agility, as you can see by the A popping up, or to the water room for perception. Now, I might move where we've assigned her based on how many agility / perception dwellers we were just given. Now, this one is charisma. Technically, charisma is good for mating, so you could put him into the barracks if we were ready to produce babies, or we could just look at his next most popular statistic or stat, because right now we really don't need him to be having children. So for now, I'm going to put him, since his agility is high, we're going to go ahead and put him in the diner. This dweller will go ahead and put in the diner as well. And now this is what I'm talking about. We actually came across another dweller with even higher agility, so I'm going to take one of the dwellers that we put in the diner that had equally high perception. Actually, this one I shouldn't have even put here. He had higher perception than agility, so we'll put him in the water plant, and we're going to put this guy. Now, what I'm going to do before I even assign the rest of the dwellers is I'm personally going to be efficient about this and already start them having children. So neither of these two, actually this one has high stats. He's got high perception. And which woman has the highest stats? She's got high perception. I'm going to take perception guy over here and have him pair up with the woman with the highest perception. Now you can see when you zoom in how they're doing. So you can already see she's saying she doesn't know how she'd get by without him. So it looks like they're off to a good start. This is important because as you pair your dwellers together a lot and they have children, sometimes you'll get relatives. And if you can't keep track and you put 2 relatives together, they'll say something like, "It's always so nice spending time with family." And then of course they'll never have children because the game's not going to promote something like that. So there you go. So now we're out of space for these last 2 dwellers. We've already reached our capacity. So we have 2 options. We could either build another barracks for them, some more living quarters, or we can just let them wait. Nothing's going to happen to them and they're not going to disappear if we leave them outside. Remind me later, thank you. So right now I'm going to do something a little crazy, but since I've played the game, I do know what I'm doing here, and I'm going to build an elevator. Now, I personally just tend to keep all my elevators just going straight down. You can switch that up, but for now we're going to do that because it's efficient for the amount of caps we have. And I am going to build another water treatment plant. And I'm going to build it here. And now I'm going to take these dwellers that I had up here and move them down. And then I'm going to destroy this room. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to build the living quarters back to back, simply because for production rooms, it does make them more efficient the more rooms you have next to each other. I'm not sure if that's true for living quarters, but just in case, why not be careful? So to destroy a room, you can select it. Then you tap on the up arrow and then you hit destroy. So we don't get the money back that we used to build that room. But right now, I'm thinking long term, and I want to build our place as efficiently and well organized as possible. And see, here we got the hint. Building 2 or 3 of the same type of room next to each other will merge them into a bigger version of the room, which, like I said, in some cases makes them more efficient. So we can't build the barracks yet, but as we collect more points, we'll be able to. And as you can see while we're waiting, the game is continuing to send us dwellers, but the game won't always do this. They're just giving us more dwellers now because they're being nice, but eventually some will either randomly find their way here, or you'll actually have to build a radio room or broadcast center to try to radio out to other dwellers that are out in the wasteland to bring them by. So to speed this up a little bit and increase our production of caps, we're going to rush one of the rooms. Now I'm just going to find the room with the luckiest dweller, because rooms with higher luck will give you more caps. So I'm going to take this one. And usually you want to try rushing a room right after you collect from it, because if you rush a room and it fails, the timer for the production of that room starts all over again. So I'm going to wait until this one is ready to collect, and then I'll rush it. Now, right now, our rate of incident is very high in these rooms. Some might be better than others. Let's find out. They're all pretty high. In general, as time goes on, the happier your dwellers are and the less often you rush a room, the less likely there will be to be an incident. At this level in the game, rushing is pretty darn risky because the chance of an incident is high, but I'll do it to move this along. And before I collect, take a look at these 2 lovebirds over here. They're dancing, which is ready. Oh, it just happened. That's it. Well then, I'll just go ahead and give those 2 their privacy. And I'll wait to rush the room until they get pregnant, because I would hate to interrupt their little love affair. There we go. And there's Patricia now. She's pregnant. And the child will actually share both the special attributes of the dwellers as well as their physical characteristics. So you can mate them by their physical characteristics, their stats. I'm doing it by their stats, of course, because I'd like to see them grow and grow my shelter quicker. And for the women who are pregnant, if a disaster breaks out, they can't fight the disaster, they only run. So you don't want to have too many pregnant women at once. Actually, I'll rush this room since I just collected from it. Yay! So we rushed a room and we just completed our first objective, and now we get to open a lunchbox, which is pretty much my favorite part of this game. They're always so fun to open, and you can buy more, but I personally never buy them. Alright, so at this point in the game, these are super helpful because they're giving us things like rataways that we can't make on our own, weapons that we would have to explore for, caps, and wow, we got nice and lucky. We got an awesome outfit. So for us right now, the most useful stat on this outfit, unless we're trying to mate somebody and want to dress them temporarily in it for the charisma to make them have a baby faster or get pregnant faster, the perception is going to be the most useful. So we are going to equip this on one of our water folks who use perception. And now he's looking nice and funky. And this way it's going to increase how quick the room goes. So let me show you that. You could see without the suit, it's at 3 minutes. And when I put it on, did you see how fast that jumps? From 2 minutes and 50 odd seconds down to less than 2 minutes. It reduced the amount of time it's going to take to produce something by a whole minute in that room. So getting suits like this is super helpful. And then on the dwellers that are closest to the entryway up top here, I'm going to give them the best weapon, because if we go through a raider attack, they're the closest to just drag up there to protect us. And now with our newfound money, we are moving on up, and I'm going to build a living quarters. I'm going to build it right here. So now that just gave us more room, increased capacity for more dwellers. And you can see how much room you have for your full capacity and how much room there is for more dwellers by tapping and then clicking on the up arrow. And then you can see what your current capacity is, which is 18, and your room for more if you upgrade, because you can also upgrade a room instead of buying a new one. But at this point, it's cheaper to buy a new room if you can. So now we have room to bring in 2 more. Let's see who's got or actually more than 2 more. We can bring in all of them. Now the problem is we don't really have a place to put them, and this is the challenging part for a lot of people, because you might feel tempted to rush and build more rooms so you can bring in all the dwellers, and then you'll start finding you need more power rooms and you're running into a hard time and it gets really overwhelming. But you actually don't need to worry too much about that. They can wait as long as you want them to and nothing will happen. So if you prefer focusing on growing your shelter first and making everyone happy and doing your objectives, you can. And by the way, I'd like to show you that all these dwellers we brought in, if you look at their happiness, look, 78%, 75%, 60%, depending on if they're in the room that's their highest skill. So for example, this guy, his happiness would probably go up if I assigned him to the living quarters. But if you look at these two who just got pregnant, 100%. So one of the easiest ways to both grow your shelter and raise everyone's happiness is to keep pumping out those babies. So looking at our resources now, I'm looking at food and water, and it looks like food is the one that's falling behind the most. Of course, we just collected it, but what I'm going to do based on the attributes of everyone we have here, we've got a lot of high perception people. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to build another water plant, because we already know that we've got the right dwellers for it. But apparently we don't have enough caps, so I have to wait to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this episode here and play it a little bit more myself to build it up. And then in the next episode, I will continue building up this shelter. I hope you guys find this really helpful. I know I'm talking a lot in it, but I'm giving you all the tips and tricks I've accumulated over months of playing. So I hope it helps. And if it does help, leave a like or share this with your friends, because so many people are playing this game now that it's accessible to iOS and Android, and rumor has it on Windows too. If you have a Windows phone, some people hacked it. So there is that. And subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next episode.